move. So I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Keith Pasquarello claims his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, destroyed his property and harassed him. Brandon is countersuing for pest control fees and filing a false restraining order.
You're a grown man. You run a big business. You're not supposed to stay in a place that's terrible.
Judge, the business is in community property right now, and
I don't care. That's not his fault.
I don't own the full business. I don't get the full money.
Hey, I'm telling you, I asked you what you did. You said, I own a business. I have 20 employees. It's a janitorial business, and I needed a place right away. I took his room, and what I'm telling you is, you have a car?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Where does your girlfriend live?
She lives 2 cities away.
Okay. Where?
But there's another aspect of this, Your Honor. That's why there's so much evidence up here. I was being harassed so much that I didn't know what to do anymore. I was given advice by an attorney, stop paying him, and you will deal with it when you go to the unlawful detainer hearing, and we'll see if it gets solved there.
You went to an attorney? Just a second.
Yes.
You consulted with an attorney who gave you advice?
Yes.
Is this an attorney that you knew who worked for you? Or is this someone that you found that was a specialist in this field of landlord defense?
It's someone that was a specialist in this field. The problem is this is Riverside and this is Los Angeles. He's a Los Angeles.
I don't care. Now, lawyers don't work for free. What did he charge you?
Nothing. It was a consultation.
Charged you nothing for a consultation?
It was a 20-minute conversation.
20 minutes?
Yes.
I get a bill for 20 minutes for $750. I don't know how you got your consultation for nothing. So I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Your Honor, I filed an incident with Fair Housing. I called the police 4 times.
I'm telling you to move.
I couldn't move, Your Honor.
What are you?
I couldn't move. I couldn't
Okay,
move.
Mr. Pasquarello, I can't help you, sir. You want your security deposit back? I have to see if you left a mess. If you didn't leave a mess, then you get your $500 security back. Except, I have a question. Did you pay December's rent?
Yes, yes.
Did you pay January's rent?
Yes.
February?
Yes.
March?
You did not pay February.
Don't speak. March's rent.
I didn't pay March or April, but it was already litigated.
No. I don't care. You moved out April 21.
Yes.
Did you pay March's rent? I'm going to ask you for proof.
I don't believe I paid March.
Okay, so you didn't pay March's rent of $1,000. So already you don't get your security deposit back.
But he was already awarded this in a previous case.
What? Previous case?
In a previous case, he was awarded in the unlawful detainer hearing. The judge granted him March and April.
Oh, so we got March and April's rent.
Yeah, he got March and April. He didn't receive it.
And just a second. Yeah. Did you pay him March and April's rent?
No, I have it. Not at the moment.
Well, I'm not an appellate court. You have to go get that from someplace, sir. You have to get that from him. You have to file a judgment. You have to attach his business. You have to do what you have to do. If the judge awarded you March and April, which I would have considered. Anyway, Mr. Pasquarello, I'm done with your case. I'm going to get to the counterclaim. You're not entitled to security deposit back because you didn't pay rent for 2 months. Okay, now let's get to your counterclaim. You had a hearing before a judge in an unlawful detainer?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and you testified? Speak.
Sorry.
Not we. That's either a yes or a no. Did you testify?
Yes.
Somebody say, raise your right hand and you swear to tell the truth? And judge asked you questions?
Yes.
And you answered questions?
Correct.
Did the same thing for him?
Yes.
And they ordered him to pay the 2 months' rent?
Yes.
And then he left?
Yes.
And he's no longer living with you as of April 21st?
Correct.
Okay. What did you tell that judge that he owed you aside from rent? Is not an answer. What did you tell the judge that he owed you other than March and April's rent?
I told the judge that he owed me for the court harassment hearings.
Now, just a second. I'd like to see where you, not from a book that you have.
Sorry.
Show me where you told the judge other things that you were claiming he did, including the parking fines in the development.
So this is everything that he owes me here.
I didn't ask you for everything he owes you. That's not what I asked you. I said, what did you tell the judge in the previous hearing that he owed you?
I only asked for the back rent due.
Oh, so what are you showing me?
This was for the small claims case.
Just a second. So after you went before a housing court to get him out because he hadn't paid rent, you went to small claims court.
I was just responding to a civil case that he had filed against me.
Well, his civil case is dismissed. Okay? He hasn't paid a judgment that he owes. May I see that, please?
Your Honor, he also asked the judge.
Just
He also, okay.
Just a second.
Sure.
Okay. Value of the remainder of the lease. That you're not getting.
Okay.
You happy to see him go?
Yes.
Great, he's gone. Court filing fees. I may think about that because he stopped paying rent on the advice of some idiot lawyer that he followed, this man who owns a business. Sheriff's filing fees. What fees were that for? For
That's
the unlawful
to serve him
detainer?
the eviction paperwork to post it on the door.
Crisis management fees. What is that?
That was for my advice to the lawyer.
You don't get that. A valve that went over something?
Oh, his parking ticket.
Yeah, he got a parking fine when he was living there.
Oh, well, I have that. A parking fine.
Yes.
Are you responsible for that?
Yes, I already paid it. I have
All
a
right, can I
receipt
see
here.
how much was the parking fine?
The parking fine was $50.
Okay. Did you know that you got a violation, sir, Mr. Pasquarello, when you were parking?
Yes, Judge, I would love to explain that. In one of the text messages that I have, Allie, his fiance, threatened to have my car ticketed. I had been living at Canyon Lake for 3 years. I had never even came close to getting a ticket. Ironically, 2 weeks later, I get a ticket right after she threatens to have my car ticketed to the POA. Now, to my understanding, she's been in Canyon Lake for a very, very long time since she was a little girl, and she has relationships there.
I don't know that. You can't prove any of that, sir. You got a ticket.
So
you got a ticket. They have a picture. You have a car that the license plate is.
I also have a text message of her saying she's going to
Just a
get my
second.
car
I'm just
ticket.
asking you whether that's your license plate.
Yes, it is. When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one once he started getting aggressive.
What happened with those cases?
His was
Don't speak from your chair. Do you hear me?
Keith Pasquarello has accused his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, of destroying his property and harassing him. Brandon is countersuing for breaching the lease and filing a false restraining order.
This is the filing fee for small claims court. That you're not getting.
Your Honor, I wouldn't have to have
Writ of
this money
possession
in
is
my pocket.
$40. Is that what you're talking about, the writ of possession?
Yes.
That you're entitled to, because you stopped paying rent. So far, he owes you $90 for the filing fee.
And then I have another receipt for no return of the POA ID card or the POA decal for his car.
What is that?
Because we live in a gated community, you have an ID card that they give you and a decal that they put on your car so you don't get tickets. Or if
And?
you do get a ticket, they know whose house to send it to. And that was $100 each, and I have a receipt for that.
Can I see what he's showing you?
And it says his name right at the top.
Did you pay this bill?
I did.
Would you please, Kevin, show this to the plaintiff? You know what that's for?
It's
Your name on it.
It's a POA card. That card was thrown away in the trash. I mean, I don't have no use for it.
Then that's a problem. Then you owe him $200. That's $290. Anything else, sir?
I believe that the small claims fee is...
Forget it. I'm not giving you the small claims
should
fee.
be
Let's go.
awarded. Okay.
Let's go.
I lost another tenant due to Keith's behavior.
Let's go. Let's go.
And
Let's move on. Move on.
he owes me $900 in lost rent from that other tenant.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's
I said let's move on.
Okay.
So far, he owes you $290.
And the court harassment filing fees. They're charging me $450 to respond to a restraining order that he put
Oh, just a minute. Did you file a restraining order against him?
I sure did.
Okay. And when did you file that?
I don't remember the exact date.
Do you have the date? If you don't remember the date, do you have
It was
the date?
January 28th.
January 28th
That was the day I was served with the paperwork. And
of
my,
2023.
yes, my witness was also
Just a
served
second.
with one too.
Just a second. This is my question, Mr. Pasquarello. You moved out in April of 2022?
23, he moved out.
23. And when did you file this harassment case against him for an order of protection?
I don't remember the exact date.
Well, can I see the papers, please?
I believe I have them here.
When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Okay, so March 27th. That's a response. Hold on. Let's see if I have the actual filing date.
Can I see it, please?
2023. Here's the receipt for the 145 for the evictions
I
process.
can't hear a word you're saying, sir. I'm reading.
Okay.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one a month later once he started getting aggressive.
Okay, so he filed one and you filed one, so you both bothered the courts,
Yes.
both of you. What happened with those cases?
His was
Don't speak from your chair. Do you hear me? What happened with those cases?
they were both dropped.
Mine was dismissed by the judge.
Were they both dismissed?
Both
Yes, they were both.
That's the answer. You owe him, Mr. Pasquarella, $290. We are finished. Your claim is dismissed. Goodbye.
Court is adjourned.
Throwing my property away, blaming me for a roach problem they already had.
He moved a little mini fridge in that apparently was roach infested.
I was done with it months ago, many months ago, but unfortunately I couldn't move. I'm in a town where, I don't have any friends or family to help me. I just met my girlfriend, and I'm not going to bring this luggage on her. So
He was trying to squat for free in order to save money to move somewhere else. I don't know what he was trying to do.
I'm ready to move forward, but the thing I'm disappointed about is not even the money necessarily. It's about there's no protection for tenants.
Watch out and really understand your lease before you sign it.
Sarah, I understand that you don't completely agree with the premise that I start from.
Sure.
If you hate where you're living and you have any capability at all, you shouldn't stay there. And then if you leave and your landlord sues you for breach of the lease because you've moved out, and if you have a legitimate reason why you moved out, that you were being harassed, that your landlord was a peeping Tom, that he would come into your house at night and go through your underwear drawers, whatever it was, and we've had all of those, then you entertain that until you hate an absolute right to break his lease. I don't get, and the example that I always give and have given for a quarter of a century is, if you go to a restaurant and you order a sirloin steak and the waiter brings it over and you cut it and you taste it, you say, oh my God, this steak is bad. And you proceed to finish the steak, and when the bill comes, you say, it was the worst steak I ever ate, I'm not paying the bill. Not in my world. In my world, if you cut into the steak and say, you know what, I'm not eating this steak that costs $42, bring me a bowl of Cheerios for $12, that I can understand, and that's fair. But if you stay in the house and eat the steak, and there's not something that really prohibits you. I mean, if you're somebody who's challenged and you're living in a small group home, it's not easy for you to find another facility. That's a whole different ball of wax. This is a man who says he's a CEO of a company with 20 employees. That's what he told me. And he's living in a place where he feels harassed and his girlfriend can't stay past 9 o'clock. I have zero sympathy for that.
I can appreciate that. I think just the undertones, this particular situation, I may agree with you a little bit more after hearing your reasoning, but I do think it can be more challenging than you and I realize on occasion to move. I mean, that can be a big deal. And of course, he held himself out as a CEO with 20 employees in what he said was successful business. I'm thinking that wasn't the case, and he was a little maybe too embarrassed to state that, but that was my position. So.
Yeah. But that's the answer.
If you have the opportunity to leave, that's what you should do. I agree with that.
And he left. And he came here with his girlfriend. Now, I don't know if they're living in the same place now, but certainly she would come to visit him. That was one of the things that he was objecting to, that you couldn't stay past 9 o'clock. Well, so you put your Tushy in the car, and you go to her house, which is 2 cities away. I have zero sympathy. If you ate the steak, you're supposed to pay for it.
Want justice? Go to judyjustice.tv.
Now, your agreement with her is that she could use the car.
Correct.
Did you have an accident with the car? Don't look up at the sky, look right here.
Yes.
I assume that your girlfriend did not like the fact that your old girlfriend had the car. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Ruiz, this is your boyfriend.
Correct.
How long have you been together with him?
It's been on and off for about
Like 2.5 years, Your Honor.
And you have a child together?
We do.
How old is that child?
He turned 1 in January.
Do you live together?
We do.
For 2.5 years.
Most of the 2.5 years, correct.
When it wasn't the most, were you living with Miss Schulte?
No.
When were you with Miss Schulte?
3.5 years ago, at least.
When you were with Miss Schulte, were you living with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have any children together?
1.
How old?
He will be 4 in August.
Do you see him?
Every week. Or every other week.
That going okay?
Yep.
Yep, it's not an answer.
Sorry, yes, Your Honor.
Very good. Okay, now, when you were with her 3.5 years ago, you had a car.
Yes.
And that car was a 2016 Jeep Renegade.
Correct, Your Honor.
In whose name was that car?
The vehicle is in mine and Kendall's name.
When was it put in your name and Kendall's name?
At the time of purchase, it was
2021.
Yes, it was.
Have it, please. Thank you. Okay, so it was purchased by the two of you April 6, 2021.
Correct, Your Honor.
And at that time, you two were together.
Yes, Your Honor.
But then there came a time when you had a breakup.
Yes, Your Honor.
When was that?
It was around December of 2021.
And where did you go?
I went back to move in with my parents.
Did you take the Jeep with you?
I did.
Did you have another car, Miss Ruiz?
I actually drove the Jeep for a while until...
No, he said he took the car and went back to his parents. That was in December of 2021. What I'm asking you is, in December of 2021, did you have another car?
I got a new vehicle, yes.
In December of 2021, when he left. So it was agreed between the two of you that he would take the car, even though it was in both your names.
Yes.
Okay. Who was making payments on the car?
I was, Your Honor.
So that was the agreement. He would take the car, he would make the payments, you would get another car.
Yes.
Great. And then you moved back with your parents. Now tell me how Miss Schulte, with whom you have a child, got possession of the Jeep.
So at the time, I was not able to afford the vehicle.
Okay, so you took it, but you had payments. What were the monthly payments?
I believe they were $367.
So how did it come into Miss Schulte's possession?
I did not need the vehicle as I had another car at the time, and she was in need of a new vehicle. So I offered her the deal that if she were able to put the vehicle in her name and keep insurance on it, that she was able to have the vehicle, but she did not follow any of the rules for the
Well, she can't register the car in her name, sir, because there's a loan out on the car.
Right. But
And they're not going to allow somebody off the hook. That would be the two of you who are on that loan.
Right.
Right? They're not going to allow the two of you off the hook and just have her on the hook. The loan is between the loan company and the two of you. She's nobody.
Right.
So she can't register the car in her name unless she pays it off.
That was the idea behind the agreement, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know what the idea was. You mean the idea was that she make the monthly payments?
Yeah, she was to continue making the monthly payment.
That's okay. She can make the monthly payment. She still can't register it in her name as the owner because there's a lien on the car by the people who gave you the money to buy it.
Correct.
So she can't register because there's a lien on it, on your title. Do you have your title?
I do.
And I want you just to look at your title and tell me what it says under lien holder.
It says the bank that has the title to the vehicle.
Right. And they actually hold the title. She can't register it in her name. So in effect, what you said to her was you can use the car as long as you make the payments.
Correct.
Because I can't make the payments anymore. Okay. And then you went back to Miss Ruiz.
Correct.
Okay. And when did you go back to Miss Ruiz? Month. This was in
January of 2022.
So a month later.
Yes.
Now, your agreement with her is that she could use the car.
Correct.
She has use this car as long as she made the payments.
And had insurance on the vehicle.
Okay. Did she make the payment in January?
Late.
Did she make the payment in January?
She did.
What about February?
She did.
What about March?
I do not believe so.
What happened in April? Did you ask for the Jeep back?
I was asking for the vehicle back shortly after giving it to her because she wasn't holding up her end of the agreement. She was not making the payments on time and she did not have insurance on the vehicle.
She made the payments. She made January, February, and March.
Late,
now, will you
affected my credit.
Well, that's too bad.
Owes for towing fees and vehicle repairs from an accident.
Okay. Did she make the payment in January?
She did.
What about February?
She did.
What about March?
I do not believe so.
How long did you have the car?
Until April.
Did you make March's payment?
I did.
Do you have proof of that?
Well, I have 3 payments, so January, February, March.
Yes. The answer, I don't have to see them. I believe she has them. So she paid January, February, March. What happened in April?
She was not making the payments. There was still...
She made January, February, March. Now we're in April.
Yes, she did not make the payment. We did not get the Jeep back until May 3rd.
Just a second. What happened in April? Did you ask for the Jeep back?
I was asking for the vehicle back shortly after giving it to her because she wasn't holding up her end of the agreement.
What was her end of the agreement? I just told you she couldn't register it in her name because she doesn't have title, neither do you.
I understand that.
Right.
The agreement was that she was supposed to continue to make the monthly payments and she was supposed to put insurance on the vehicle. She was not making the payments on time and she did not have insurance on the vehicle.
No, she made the payments. She made January, February, and March.
Late,
now,
which affected my credit.
Well, that's too bad. That wasn't your agreement. Your agreement was that she was to make payments. There was nothing you agreed that she had to make the payments on time. I assume that your girlfriend, Miss Ruiz, did not like the fact that your old girlfriend had the car that was titled partially in her name. I want you to answer that question, sir. It's a very easy question. You don't have to be a soothsayer and you don't have to have an advanced degree in psychology to know that your current girlfriend and the mother of your child, of your new baby, doesn't like the fact that you gave a car that's in her name to your old girlfriend with who you have a child. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out, right?
You're right.
Right. So old girlfriend didn't like the agreement, but you had made an agreement with her. Now, did you have insurance on the car, and was that part of your agreement? Don't look up at the sky. Look right here.
It was, yes.
Yes. Did you have insurance on the car?
Insurance was on it for a little bit, but then I was trying to find a new insurance company.
So the answer is no.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then he had every right, despite the fact that you made the payments, to get the car back. Because if something happened to that car and you were driving it and it didn't have insurance because you were trying to find different insurance, because actually you have no liability on this thing. If you have an accident, they're going to go after the owners of the car if you have nothing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. That was your deal and you breached the deal. So now he asked for the car back because you didn't have insurance on it. You may have made the payments, but you didn't have insurance on it. And you asked for the car back in April.
I asked for the car back numerous times.
I don't care whether he asked for the car back numerous times. You had no right to ask for it back until you knew she had no insurance. The reason you asked for it back is because Miss Ruiz didn't like the fact that Miss Schulte
That is not
had a car.
correct. That is not correct, Your Honor.
No.
Your Honor, I did not have a problem with her having the vehicle because I didn't want to have it anymore. I got my own vehicle. I was not upset at the fact that she had it. They do have a child together, and I do know that she needs a vehicle to get their child around.
Are you telling me, Miss Ruiz, that it didn't bother you that your name was on the title and therefore you were responsible for that car?
That's the
And
car.
that car was being driven by Miss Schulte?
Correct.
Right.
That-
Well, just a second. If the car was just in his name, he can give it to whoever he likes. But it had your name on it.
Yes.
That's psychology 101. She had the car. You have a certain responsibility. You work.
I'm actually a 24-hour caregiver for our son. He has a disability.
Okay. So your lawsuit is when you got the car back, it was damaged.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Did you have an accident with the car?
Yes,
When?
April 25th.
Did you fix the car?
I was going to. I was having somebody.
The question is, did you fix the car?
No, I didn't.
And at that time, you had no insurance on it because your insurance had lapsed.
Yeah.
Do you have a photograph of the car?
I have the police report as well.
I'd like to see the photograph of the car. I'll look at the police report. And
There's
just show it to me. Yeah.
attached to
Does the yellow form show the mileage? They bought it 2021.
I think so. Yeah, take a look. So ultimately, you were told that they were going to report the vehicle stolen unless you returned it. That's what the police report says.
He told me after.
Just a second. Well, you told the police the accident happened in May, on May 3rd. Schulte, police then asked you about the accident she said she was involved in. Schulte said it occurred earlier that day on 5/3/2022 near 1500 block of Grenada North. We asked if you contacted the police. She said she did. Schulte said she struck another woman's vehicle and they both pulled over. Police officer indicates I felt Schulte was being deceptive when I asked her if she called the police about the accident. And I don't think there's any other police report. Did you file a police report about this accident on May 3rd?
I'm guessing.
Is not an answer.
I'm guessing that is the day that they called the cops to get the actual vehicle.